Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video where I'm doing a bit of a chatty get ready with me as I prepare to sing at a concert this evening. I'm using these two eyeshadow palettes to do this look, and if you just want to see that and hear about the concert, then stick around. Today I'm getting ready for a concert. I'm performing later this evening with a string quartet at an outdoor event, and the quartet members are wearing blue shirts and black pants. So I wanted to work with their clothes but not quite fit in totally because I am technically a soloist. So I'm going to be wearing a black dress with a blue scarf that hangs down low. I'll have some blue accessories in my hair, and I thought that I would incorporate blue into my eyeshadow look, but I don't want to do a blue look. I'm thinking of using these two palettes. This is BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin. Now, BH Cosmetics filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, I think about 2 years ago, and they were purchased by Makeup Revolution. I have not tried the releases since that purchase. I've heard that they're not terribly impressive, but before they were purchased, they had landed on an eyeshadow formula that pretty much perfect. I mean, really amazing. So this is part of their brunch series. I'm thinking of using these darker browns and maybe this shimmer right here, because the scarf that I'm wearing has a tint of green, just a little bit, and this does a little bit. So maybe this, or maybe one of these lighter shimmers as an inner corner pop. But I'm also going to be using the Sickly Sweet palette from Blend Bunny. I would like to do, like I said, I want to incorporate blue. I think I'm going to do a large inner area, not just an inner corner highlight, but kind of blown out in the inner half-ish of the crease to do a bright blue, and then I'll blend it into the browns. So I'll be using one of these blue mattes, I think, and probably pulling in Crying Sparkles because it's a really pretty shimmer. So I don't have a firm plan. I have a general idea. I've already primed my eyes with the Glamlight Icing Primer, and everything I'm using is linked, or at least mentioned, below in the description box. I always link if I can, but I do sometimes use palettes, at least, that are no longer available. So anyway, if it's available, it's linked. If it's not, it's just mentioned. But let's just dive right in, and I'll tell you a bit about my day. I think I want to try this Feeling Blue shade. It's similar to I'm Fine up in the corner. It's really similar. I'm Fine is a tiny bit more pastel, but they're close. So I'm just going to put this here. I don't know if I'm going to use a shimmer as an inner corner highlight or not. I want to lay this down quite liberally here. I like blue eyeshadow, but I just have to be careful about the tones that I use because I have like cool blue undertones in my skin, I think, and sometimes certain blues, particularly navy blues, can make me look pretty tired, pretty weary, honestly. I had a TV interview recently after I won a competition, and I wore navy blue. And I didn't think, I just wore the most professional, nice looking dress that I had that wasn't too dressy. And it was a great dress. It's a great fit and a style for my body, but it's navy blue. And when I watched the interview later on, I was thinking, I just look so darn drab. I should have worn any color other than navy. Even black would have been more striking, again, like a more contrast against my skin. Oh well, live and learn. Anyway, so let me tell you about today. Today I am performing with like I said, a string quartet. Because I won the competition, they invited me to sing with them, and they had a program already established, so I just decided to join in on one of the songs. But then they also gave me the option to suggest another song. So I'll take the same brush into 350 degrees in the Blueberry Muffin palette. So I sent one of the quartet members, the one I was talking to, I sent her like 6 or 7 song ideas that kind of fit the theme. And I said, you know, do any of these work for you guys as a group? Because they have to do a lot more work than I do. I just need to know the song and sing the lyrics in order. So granted, they're professional musicians, so it's not such a stretch for them. They do it all the time as their vocation. But anyway, I still felt like it was more work. So I gave them multiple suggestions, and they picked one. And the one that they picked is Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel, which I've never performed, and I'm excited about that because it's a great song. If you know that song, if you love that song like so many people do, let me know in the comments. I mean, I grew up with Simon and Garfunkel. It was the music of my parents' generation is the stuff that I grew up with. So classic rock and oldies for the most part. My musical tastes have broadened a bit since then, but I love classic rock and oldies. And when I say oldies, I mean the things that were oldies when I was a kid. So I grew up in the 80s, 90s. These things that were oldies were like 40s, 50s, 60s. And I do like music of those earlier eras. But the music that was on the oldies station was not quite as old as the 30s. And now I think when I listen to an oldies station, I'm going, wait, that's just classic rock. That's not old. Of course, now we're in 2024, so it's been 30 more years. Oh man. Anyway, so the event today is outdoors, and I'm really hoping the weather cooperates. I don't know if it will. It's pretty cloudy and overcast right now. Honestly, if it's just that the rain holds off, that would be ideal. That would be ideal. I'm gonna bring this 350 over a little further to fill more of my lid space, I think. The browns in this palette are stinking amazing. They basically blend themselves. I mean, I'm blending with a different formula over here and also very different colors. Blue and brown don't blend together. At some point you just have to be like, all right, they're meeting and they're happy there. We'll leave it at that. Otherwise you're gonna get, the brown will completely take over a pastel blue. But the way that these browns perform is incredible. Okay, so this is a Blend Bunny B1, and I'll take Decadent, which is the darker of the two browns, and I will put that right out here. I'm looking forward to the event. My friend actually organized it. She knows the cellist in the quartet, and the cellist was looking for a singer, and my friend goes, oh, well, I know Rachel, and you know, she just won the competition with the orchestra in which all these quartet musicians play. So we had already technically worked with each other, just not like one-on-one, face-to-face basis, because I worked with the conductor and he worked with the orchestra. Anyway, it should be a good time. I think the concert's probably only about an hour. I would love to perform more, and honestly, I'm really hoping that this opens more doors to local performances, because it's such a joy to have an outlet for my music, to have something to work towards, something to keep me in good vocal health, keep hydrated, keep warmed up, just in general. I mean, I'm like that on the whole anyway, because I'm always singing and I try to drink a lot of water. But it's still a little different to have a specific end goal. Like, okay, I've got a concert coming up in 2 weeks. Or like, I know that I'm going to be with the symphony in the Christmas concert, and that's always living at the back of my brain. Always exciting and really just delightful, honestly. So I'm hoping that today will go very smoothly and really well, and the quartet members and I will all have a great time working together, and hopefully that can lead us to doing other things together, because it's wonderful. It's wonderful and it's fun. And I had a friend come yesterday and pick up my two little ones. So my two youngest children they had a sleepover last night, and they're gonna spend all day playing with our friends, and then they'll get dropped off later this evening. It wasn't for the concert that my friend did that. She did it because we're moving next week, and she was just offering to take the kids so that I could get something done, which is going to happen today, because today my oldest daughter is still home. She and I are going to break down all the beds today. Take apart the crib, take apart the bunk bed, turn it all into flat slabs that we can slide into a moving truck. So disassemble as much as we need to, but not as much as we could, because it's really a pain in the neck to put it all back together. That's the thing that I'm least looking forward to with this move, is breaking down the beds. But it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen today, and then it'll be done. Off my plate, out of my brain. Check. I'm looking for a flat brush. There, I found it. It never happens that quickly. Okay, so I'm gonna take Crying Sparkles in the Sickly Sweet palette. I've sprayed that, and I'm gonna start it at my inner corner where the blue mats are sitting. Well, singular, blue matte. This is my favorite Blend Bunny palette that I have. I think it's so well balanced because it's got tons of pastels. It's a predominantly pastel palette, but it also has a couple midtones, and then they lead you into the selection of dark tones. And then the shimmers are beautiful. They're really sparkly and lightweight. It's my favorite Blend Bunny palette. It's great. And now I'm gonna go with my gut and pick up Tempting from Blueberry Muffin. That's this one right here. Because in some lights it has just a little bit of green in it, and I want to grab that green because it'll work with my scarf. So, got that on the flat brush. I will spray that as well. And now I'm just gonna put that here. Okay, that was a lot, picked up a lot. So brushing off, wiping off my brush, and here, I'm gonna go back into Crying Sparkles. I keep thinking it's Crying Sprinkles. It's not, it's Crying Sparkles. And kind of take over a bit more of that real estate. Just drag it on top of that VH shimmer. Just so that it's not overwhelming, because that was, it just laid down so, it's such a great formula. It laid down so easily and so beautifully. Now I think I'll take the shade Yummy, which is the dark purple brown kind of shimmer in the palette of Blueberry Muffin. I'm just putting that on the edge of this blue. There we go. So I'm kind of transforming that blue into a bluey purple to match the purpley browns of the outer corner area. I already laid the browns on my lower lash line, so I'm cleaning off this little blending brush. I'm going back into Feeling Blue, and this is what I used in my inner corner, and I'm just gonna drag that all the way through. One thing about working with professional musicians is that you don't get much rehearsal time. I know that they rehearsed a couple of times, like after the regular orchestra rehearsal, they stayed and practiced the quartet pieces, but I'm gonna get basically one time through with the quartet before we perform. So working with professional musicians, you have to be on top of your game because you get very little time to make adjustments. Okay, I like the way that this is looking, but finally I do want to do a pop of brightness. I like the light blue at the inner corner, but I want a little bit of reflect. So back into Blueberry Muffin. I think I'll pick up Hot and Fresh. Now this shade is a bit crumbly, so it's on this tiny little blending brush. I'm gonna spray it. Spraying your shimmer helps you control fallout. It also helps it be applied more precisely, and it usually makes it a bit more sparkly or metallic, depending on the formula, of course. Putting that right here. I just want a little dot. That's pretty. Okay, let me do the other side and then I'll come back to finish my face because it's technically a get ready with me. All right, guys, here's the finished eye look. I was talking to my daughter, so I just kept going a little bit. I did mascara and I put white in my waterline, and now I'm just taking some concealer to deal with any fallout. You know how it goes. So my oldest daughter is here home with me, while the little ones are having fun at a friend's house. And like I said before, we're going to break down the beds today. I think we're also going to make some treats for our neighbors because we're moving next weekend. We were thinking of giving some treats to the neighbors that we've grown close to over the last few years. So there are two older women. I'm going to bake each of them a nice loaf of bread. And I finally have a Dutch oven, so I can get like a really crusty effect to the bread. It's lovely. I want to do sourdough, but I don't have a starter right now. So I'm going to make them each a loaf of bread, and then we will make brownies for two other families who have kids, because I know that these older women are not going to want brownies. I tend to put on more makeup when I'm performing because I just want to make sure that I'm quite visible from wherever people may be standing. So I'm going to put on some bronzer. I had to drop it on the floor first. It wouldn't have worked as well if I hadn't dropped it on the floor. So a little bit of bronzer. This is Physicians Formula. Again, everything that I'm using is linked below. I can't decide what blush color to do. I don't want it to be really bright. I think I'm going to stick with this from ColourPop. This is the shade Matchmaker. It's not really a blush on me because it's quite close to my skin tone, honestly. It doesn't add a lot of blushing effect. But it is cooler toned than most of the other ones I have, and it's not as bright and colorful, so it does add something. I just want to make sure that I'm visible when I'm standing up in front of people, that they can see me, they can see my features. I don't look all washed out. It's not a stage with stage lights. It's an outdoor event area, so I think that there are like a few steps that lead to a raised area, and I'm pretty sure the quartet just sets up there. But still, it's a consideration. I do want to make sure that I'm visible, but not garish. Sometimes stage makeup can be kind of a lot. I think for a highlighter, I'll use the Frosé palette from BH Cosmetics. It's not too glimmery or glitzy. It's not too much, but it is definitely there. Reflective and pretty. All right, and that is that. I feel more made up than usual because, again, this is getting ready for a performance. I don't usually wear quite this much. Often if I'm wearing bronzer, then I will just wear highlighter, if anything, honestly. Or I might wear only highlighter, or I might do blush and highlighter but no bronzer. I don't usually do all these things on my face because it just feels like too much. And funnily enough, since I'm just going to be working in my house today and, you know, breaking down beds and whatnot, it feels like complete overkill. There you go, guys. That's everything all said and done. This is my whole outfit. I've got some flowers in my hair, so I don't feel quite so over made up now because it's like a full ensemble instead of just being what I'm wearing as I break down the beds in my daughter's room. Anyway, I like it. Hope you do too. On my lips, I'm wearing the Italia Deluxe Ultra Fine Lip Liner in the shade 1065 Terracotta, and I topped it with the NYX Smooth Whip in the shade Latte Foam. This has been my favorite so far. I like the formula. I'm really enjoying the neutral tone, especially in matte. And especially when I have a lot going on with my eyes, I'm finding less and less that I want a very bright, bold lip. I just want the lips to be more downplayed. Sure, maybe some color or a bit of tint, maybe even a little bit of gloss, but I don't want a lot happening here and a lot happening here. I want it to be one or the other. So if I go for like a red lip, then I might just do mascara, you know? I like the counterbalance. I don't want it to be too much everywhere. Again, today I feel overdone, but that's because I'm going to be performing and I want to make sure that like this is a little bit more stage makeup for me than regular. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your thoughts on the look. Of course, I think blue and brown together are just lovely. A little unexpected and kind of fun because you can often mix cool and warm tones together. It's just a good time and it's very fun to experiment. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do consider liking and subscribing if you haven't before and you want to see more content like this. I tend to upload multiple videos every week, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!